Being a fan of Professor Layton, Phoenix Wright, and more recently Danganronpa, you guys probably know by now that I have a bit of a thing for mysterious visual novels. So today, at the request of my patron Tobisaru, I'm going to review Life is Strange. And this is most likely going to disappoint a lot of you. Life is Strange just doesn't do it for me. Now, before you rage at me for spewing that bit of blasphemy, I actually think that this game is pretty good, and it warrants its reputation. Life is Strange was developed by Dontnod Entertainment and published by Square Enix, and it was received rather positively by the general gaming public for its intrigue, its alluring drama, and its ability to force the player into making some difficult choices. Think a lot like the Telltale series, but in a different style. And you guys know that I love me some Telltale, and I love me a good mystery, so what exactly is it about this game that doesn't appeal to me personally? Well, let's take a look. The game stars Maxine Caulfield, Max for short, a budding photographer and high school student who is a seemingly normal girl from the humble town of Arcadia Bay. But after a seemingly normal day, with seemingly normal teachers and seemingly normal friends, it doesn't take long for things to get, well, strange. Max experiences a vision of a tornado destroying the lighthouse near Arcadia Bay, and then soon after, she watches a fellow student kill another girl. In a fit of desperation, Max rewinds time just long enough for her to be able to stop the killing. I'm getting a serious Ghost Trick vibe here. And it turns out that the girl she saved was her old childhood friend Chloe. The two take the opportunity to catch up and discuss what the heck just happened, especially involving Max's inherent time-traveling powers, and they piece together that the vision that Max had earlier is a warning of a possible future. But they're not given much time to think about it, as the two are suddenly dragged from one problematic situation to another. So Max and Chloe embark on an investigation involving scandal, suicide, and murder, and hopefully somewhere along the way they can make heads or tails of Max's apocalyptic future sight. So from that general summary, you can piece together that this game is an investigative visual story with a time travel mechanic. The video game medium is no stranger to time travel, but oftentimes it's either mishandled or very easily messed up. But I'm happy to say that Life is Strange handles it pretty well. The choice-making mechanic of this game gels really well with Max's ability to reverse time, and it gets even more interesting later when Max can use photographs to augment her powers even further. It's also refreshing to see a narrative that understands just how messed up time travel can get. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who hasn't played the game yet, but this game makes it very clear by the end that messing with time can have some fatal consequences. And all the way there, we're treated to some crazy drama, some genuinely funny moments, and some rather heartfelt and heartbreaking situations. So all in all, the narrative is there and it's handled nicely, all the while gelling really well with the game's mechanics. As for presentation, well, I don't know about you guys, but the animations and the models of this game look stunted. I mean, it's not terrible, but if I'm being honest here, the character animations and facial expressions just seem awkward. Now, I could say the same about games like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us, but those games have a certain style to them that keep me from focusing on the flaws. Life is Strange goes for a more realistic style, and I'm okay with that, but given what I said before about the animation and expressions, I honestly feel that works against it. It's not terrible, but it's enough to keep me distracted. But in the grand scheme of things, that's a minor complaint, because this game shines in every other aspect. So, why am I not a huge fan of it? Well, honestly, it's a preference thing. I realize that throughout this whole review, I've been comparing Life is Strange to other narrative-based games that I truly enjoy, but the main difference here is that the games I mentioned before don't take themselves too seriously, and those that do have a certain charm or style to them that keep me engaged. Life is Strange, I'm afraid, is a little too serious for my taste, and speaking bluntly, high school teenage drama stories just bore me. And this is only further augmented by some of this game's dialogue choices. It's cringe central sometimes.
I bet you were glad to see her blast up in that truck like a rock star.
And if you guys are wondering how I feel about this game's soundtrack, it's the same story, I'm afraid. It's not a bad soundtrack, it's actually really good, it's just not my cup of tea. So, final verdict. Do I like Life is Strange? No, not really. Do I think it's a good game? Absolutely. While guys like me aren't really gonna get too much out of this game, it received high praise for a reason. It's dramatic, it's engaging, it's endearing, and for those of you who are not like me, it's more than likely to get your emotional gears turning. You definitely won't see me playing this game on my spare time, but I more than encourage others to go ahead and give it a whirl.